Okay, so Nickelback's Feed the Machine album came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm a bit disappointed and not surprised, to be honest, because Nickelback, I think, were quite good back in the day, and I know there's a lot of stigma to being a fan of theirs, and certainly this album does not help that in the slightest. Now, friend of mine did a blog on this at Brand X Reviews recently and wrote an article about it online. You can read that, and I agree with his comments. I thought I'd do my own kind of quick video follow-up. Now, having reviewed this myself and gone over the tracks, I made a bit of a list of what each song, kind of how I feel about it. And track 1, Feed the Machine, was just kind of generic rock as you normally get, as was track 2, Coin for the Ferryman. Track 3 was one of their usual sort of weepy, generic songs that those are always the ones that get released as singles, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But it wasn't for me. Track 4, which was Must Be Nice, was just generic rock. Again, very generic. That word is just going to keep getting repeated. Track 5, Cheesy Shit. That was kind of what I wrote down as I was listening to it. Track 6, generic rock. Track 7, cheesy but alright. It wasn't an awful song in my opinion. I know this whole thing really is subjective, but that was what I thought. Track 8, The Betrayal Act 3, was actually okay. It was a bit generic, but I still thought it was one of the better tracks on the album. Track 9 was a kind of slower, generic rock kind of thing. Track 10, Cheesy Shit. And then track 11 was probably my favourite. And track 11 was basically an instrumental version of track 8, obviously, because it's called The Betrayal. So, kind of unfortunate, really, that the best song on there to me was the instrumental album. And independently of that, one of my co-reviewers, Richard Moody, on Brand X Reviews on the Facebook page, on his blog, actually wrote the same thing independently of me. We hadn't actually discussed this before he sent his blog out, and I was talking to him yesterday or the day before and saying, yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, not great, let's just put it that way. I mean, the problem with Nickelback, like I said, they're always going to have the stigma attached to them, and I think when they release albums like this, it's just becoming more and more justified. I mean, it really does annoy me that a lot of their earlier stuff, they did some really great albums in my opinion. The first sort of 4 or 5 albums were pretty good, but especially sort of the 4th and 5th and 6th albums, you were finding it was like maybe not every other track, but every like few tracks you'd have a sort of really weepy, weak-ass song about feelings and, you know, I love you, I miss you, I need you, and, you know, just not what Nickelback are really admired for the most part by a lot of fans such as myself. So they need to drop doing that. But the annoying thing is, those are always the songs that get released as goddamn singles, and it's embarrassing because that's what people are forming their opinions on when they don't listen to their album. So when you say I like Nickelback, it makes it sound like you like that kind of music, and it's like, no, I don't. I always skip those tracks because they're so god-awful, and this album, unfortunately, is loaded with even more of the same of that, so really not happy with that anyway. So, but, you know, it's inevitable when you've got a band that's been around for quite a long time, and it's that, you know, the usual sort of post-grunge argument, you know, I mean, I don't go for arguments like, oh, it's an irrelevant, like, you know, form of music now. It's like, well, music is music to me. It doesn't matter, like, when you're listening to it, I suppose, unless there's something lyrically about it. You either kind of vibe with it or you don't. But I find more and more with Nickelback's albums in recent times, I'm just not vibing with them, and I'm not even able to get the sleeve back in either, so... Anyway, that's just my initial thoughts. I'm not the best person to review music, to be honest, but that was just, as a fan, I thought I had a few things to legitimately say about this, and I've been following them for a while, so pretty let down, but not surprised. When I actually bought this, I actually said to my friend at the time, I was like, don't tell anybody I bought this, please. And I said, you know, it's like an abusive relationship. We always go back. Well, no more. The next time they bring an album out, I'm not going to buy it because I'm jumping off the... I'm getting out of this abusive relationship now. It's just not worth it. you know. So yeah, pretty negative review, and I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. So Brandix Reviews, that's the channel. Well, obviously, if you want to subscribe to us, if you want to dislike this video because I said that I sort of like Nickelback, I will totally understand. Thank you very much for watching.